Hey everybody, welcome. Happy Thursday. I am making dinner. Let's make dinner. So it's been a really long day yesterday and I was so tired. I'd been pulling weeds for hours and hours out in the yard and I was exhausted, and I thought I need something quick that I can make for dinner. So let's fix this a little. So I just threw together my chickpea curry in a hurry, and it turned out so great. I've got my pot heating up and we are ready to go. I've got everything ready. So I tried to see how long this would actually take. I thought it would take 15 minutes or less to put this together, and I think we're just about right on. So I timed myself while I was chopping my spinach and chopping the onions and everything that was going to go in the curry, and I set the timer, and it got to 6 minutes and 32 seconds. So that's how long it took me to get everything chopped up and to grab my cans of things that I'm going to throw together. So let's put them in and start them cooking. So I'm putting in 1 medium to large onion. Whoops, let's move this so that you can see what I'm doing a little better. Go. All right. Ooh, you can hear it sizzling. Nice and hot. I'm just gonna brown up my onions just a little bit. Get them started. And we're gonna add the seasonings pretty quick because I wanna start heating those up so that the oils and the essential oils that are inside the seasonings will start to come out as they are warmed. So I like to add them pretty quick. Let me grab some water. So I like to saute in water and not in oil, because when you saute in oil, you're really just adding calories. You can hear that it immediately stops sizzling, but you can see that even without the oil, I think you can see that I've even got some browning going on, and it's sizzling nicely, and I'm not adding 120 calories per tablespoon. So it works just fine to just add a little water so that it doesn't stick. All right, they are already softening and looking great. So we are just gonna throw in the other ingredients. So I'm adding 1 can of a no salt added diced tomato. And as soon as I've got some liquid in here from the tomato, now I'm gonna start adding my seasonings. Turn my heat down just a little. All right. So now we're going to add, so I like to add, this serves 2. So if you want to have this be a meal for 2 nights, you can definitely double the recipe. Or if you're serving more than 2 people, double or triple the recipe. It works great. Okay, so I've got a pretty spicy curry powder. And so my recipe says to add, let's see, it says to add 2 teaspoons of the curry powder. So, you know, curry is actually from the continent of India, that region, and curry just means that it's a mixture of spices. And typically things like turmeric and ginger, several different chili peppers, and so it's a combination of cardamom and those kinds of wonderful warm spices. And so you can add as much curry powder as you like, or as little, as spicy as you like it. I love the smell of spices. This is ground cardamom, and it's super fresh. And I am going to add an extra teaspoon of ground cardamom because I think it really makes this particular veggie chickpea curry really pop. It gives it so much flavor. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add, let me show you, I've got this no salt, no salt added garbanzo or chickpeas, and that's going to be our protein for this dinner. And I'm going to go ahead and get those starting to warm and soften just a little bit more, because when you get them from the can, they tend to still be just a little bit hard. So I really want them to be heated through, and I want them to be softening even more. This is an organic garbanzo bean, and I already had opened it and drained off most of the liquid. I left maybe about 1/3 of the liquid in the can. Okay, so we've got our tomatoes, we've got our garbanzo beans, chickpeas, we've got some of our seasonings. Let's keep adding seasonings. So this is garlic powder, not garlic salt, because we don't want to add extra salt. You can add just a pinch of salt if you like, but there's so much flavor in this, and you're going to get natural sodium in the tomato. Okay, so my recipe says to add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. You can smell it. Yum. All right, now I'm going to add a very low sodium veggie broth. So I use this Vogue instant veggie base low sodium broth. I prefer not to buy, unless you can find the veggie broths that are the low sodium that don't have any MSG in them. I'm very sensitive to MSG, and so I really try hard not to have anything that says yeast extract or MSG, monosodium glutamate in it, because it really does a number on my digestive tract. A lot of people are sensitive to glutamates, and so you want to be, and glutamate is in natural foods, but when it's extracted and when it's what's the word, condensed or made super rich. Oh, I forget the word I'm looking for. Anyway, when it's condensed, when it's come together in such a potent form, then we don't, it causes more reactions in the body, for some people. For me especially. Okay, so I'm adding a full tablespoon of this veggie broth, and the recipe calls for basically adding a 1/2 cup of a no salt or low sodium veggie broth. So I'm going to go ahead and add, oh, I forgot my cup measure. Well, we will just, remember, we're trying to do this a curry in a hurry. So we're just going to use this bowl, and I'm going to say that's about 1/2 cup, and that's good to go. All right, it's already starting to simmer, and I can smell all those fabulous spices. We're only a few minutes in, and we're already halfway through this recipe or more. All right, so that actually was the basic recipe, except for adding the spinach now at the end. So I was thinking to myself, all right, so this is a great recipe. It's got, let me bring this down so you can see it. This has the tomatoes, the chickpeas, I added onions, and it's already going to be hearty when you add the spinach to it. So what I thought was, how can I make this even more vegetables, even more hearty? And so right now it is definitely zucchini time, and so I'm adding zucchini to just about everything. So when I add the spinach right at the end, I'm also going to add some diced up zucchini, because I don't want to mush my zucchini in it. I want it to still be just a little bit al dente, a little bit crunchy. All right, I'm also going to add, right now I'm going to add some diced up cauliflower. Now I'm going to serve this tonight over some cauliflower rice. So you don't have to add the cauliflower, but I love cauliflower, especially with the curry seasoning. It seems like the florets of the cauliflower just kind of soak up into all those little crevices and cracks. It soaks up all of that fabulous flavor and the liquid, and so it's going to be really, really good. All right, I've got that all stirred in, and I think, like I said, it's already simmering. So once it starts simmering, then, and it means that it's already heating through everything. So let's go ahead and add those zucchini. right, I do want my cauliflower, maybe I'll wait just one more minute. I do want my cauliflower to start softening just a little bit more. So I think what we'll do is just cover it, because when you cover a dish, it traps that heat in there and it'll start simmering and heating up even faster. So I'm just gonna check my temperature. All right, I think you can see it. All right, we're just gonna let that cover for just a minute. So what are some of your favorite meals that you make in a hurry? One of the other ones that I like to do real quick is just do a real quick taco salad. So you just throw together some different lettuces. Usually we use romaine, and we add a can of black beans, and we sometimes will add some pumpkin seeds, and the pepitas, those are fabulous. And of course, diced tomatoes, anything that you would see in a taco, right? And you can always add corn if you want. We try not to eat more of those starchy vegetables at night. And so if I'm having it for a salad at lunchtime, I'll add the corn, but in the evening time, I tend not to do that. This curry you could actually, oh, and then for dressing for the taco salad, I just put salsa, and that's it. That's a quick and easy, that's like a 5-minute dinner, right? And the beans make it super hearty and really, really filling. So with this curry, you can either serve it over cauliflower rice like we're going to do, but another great option is to serve it over some cooked quinoa. And so if you start your quinoa, start that boiling right when you're getting ready to start this, then you're going to have your quinoa only takes 15 minutes to cook on the stove. So if you add some hot water, don't add cold water, so add hot boiling water. I love to, when I'm wanting to hurry, I use my little instant hot water heater thing here, and so I get my water boiling, then I put it in my pot and get that going, and then I'll add the quinoa and it will just start simmering almost right away. So you really speed up your cooking time that way. All right, we are totally simmering. It is so good. Can you see it? You see it bubbling and simmering? Okay, so we're gonna add our diced zucchini. So I had an extra large zucchini that was hiding underneath a zucchini leaf in my garden, and it ended up being like this long, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to use that up quick. So and cooking it is better than raw when it gets that big, because the outside of it tends to get a little bit more hard. So I'm cooking this zucchini, and I'm just gonna add that and let that come to a simmer. And so you can serve this over quinoa. I love to cook quinoa when I'm making a savory dish like this. I love to cook quinoa with, again, the no sodium or low sodium vegetable broth. It just adds a lot of flavor to that quinoa. Another thing that you can add is, this is from Costco, and it's a no salt seasoning mix. And you could add about a teaspoon of that to this. And again, that's gonna really boost the flavor. Seasoning mix makes the most fabulous vegetable broth. I absolutely love it. I put it in almost all of my soups. Really boosts the flavor by adding all of those. Oh, you know what? Another thing that you can use to boost the flavor is carrot juice. You can totally add some carrot juice to a soup, and that helps to add a lot of sweetness and vitamins and minerals, and so a little bit of carrot juice goes would be delicious in it, and it really enhances your vegetable broths. So okay, this is just seriously almost ready. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually turn off the heat, because we've got everything simmered and ready to go. And I am now gonna add, so what I did was I took 3 big handfuls, one at a time. I took a big handful and I put it on my cutting board, and I chopped it one way and then chopped it the other, so it's kind of like cubed. I cubed my spinach, and so I want it to be relatively small. I don't know if you can see how big this bowl is. So spinach, when you cook it, actually decreases in size by like a quarter of what it was. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but you go to put a bunch of spinach in a dish and all of a sudden it disappears and you're like, where'd the spinach go? So you can use more spinach than you think. So this is actually 3 big handfuls out of my big container, and I chopped each one so that I could handle it on the cutting board. And I've chopped that up and it is ready. And you can see that it is gonna fill my pot with spinach, but as soon as I stir it into this hot liquid, it is going to wilt into it and disappear into the curry. So I'm just gonna gently get that folded in. Everything is hot. The spices have had time to open up and be release all of their wonderful flavors. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. It smells so good. Now, if you want to make this ahead of time, maybe you're not in a hurry and maybe you just want to make this ahead of time, the longer it sits, the more it actually will release even more of its flavors and becomes even richer. So it tastes great right now, and you can serve this for dinner. It's been what, 15 minutes maybe that we've been 15, 20 minutes that we've been talking. But if you want to just put the lid on it and let it sit for an hour and then you're ready for dinner, all you have to do is heat up that cauliflower rice, or make your fresh, your quinoa, and put that on top of it, and you're ready for dinner. So anyway, I'm gonna show you all the beautiful colors. Can you see all those colors? It's so pretty, and that spinach just wilted into it and totally disappeared. Not totally, but it's all incorporated, and you can see that it's not just one big spinach dinner. You know, the reason that I chop up my spinach into those small pieces is because one of the things I hated as a kid was when my mom would serve spinach in a dish and you would get those long stringy pieces of spinach. I hated that. But when you chop it up really small, it just incorporates into everything and you don't get any of those big pieces. So it's super yummy that way. And so you're getting all the benefits of a leafy green, but not having all those long stringy pieces. Anyway, this smells so good. I'm excited to have it again for dinner tonight since I had it last night. And I hope you guys try the recipe. I will put it in the description. I will put my original recipe, and I will put what my modifications are to make it even more hearty. And I hope you try it. Thanks for joining me today for this curry in a hurry. And I hope you have a nourished evening.